welcome to an all-new episode of Palace Off the Top Rope. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. And I decided to take a couple of weeks off to kind of ride this little high of this last episode of the 90s Films Turns 30 series that I just did, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, with myself and Brandon McLaughlin, who knocked it out of the park. Can't wait to have him back on that series in the near future. But I had to write off that. It was just such a good episode. I'm really proud of it. It's available now on all your podcast platforms. You can go check that out. And don't worry, more episodes of that spin-off series will be coming soon. I've also been a little busy. Work has really picked up with the summer movie season in full swing. A lot of stuff has gone down in these last couple of weeks that I've been off. The arrival of Black Widow has come, and it was an movie. I mean, I thought it was such a nothing. And I don't really want to comment too much on it just because we've already, hit the peak of it. It's come, it's gone. We're already, a week after it being out. And what today's episode is going to be about is a discussion on Space Jam: A New Legacy. And I'll be bringing on my daughter Bella, who's returning to the show. She wanted to discuss this movie along with the original just to kind of compare the two. So we're going to we had a nice little discussion this past weekend on it, so you'll get that in the latter part of this episode. But lots of stuff to get to in the couple of weeks that I was out. So first, the most important thing that happened, and you heard it at the beginning of this episode, was the return of John Cena to WWE. And yes, folks, I know I put a pause on watching WWE for a while, but that was the in-between point, at post-WrestleMania, and we're now on the road to SummerSlam, and the return of fans to wrestling shows is starting, to arrive more and more, and we're seeing it. So yeah, I'm going to tune into WWE, and them presenting John Cena back into the spotlight there was just a tremendous way for WWE to kind of get some momentum back on its side, because the other wrestling company, All Elite Wrestling, which I am sure as hell enjoying every bit of, and I'll mention in just a little bit, I actually went to night one of Fyter Fest, their episode of Dynamite, which airs on Wednesdays. I went to that last week in Austin, Texas, and that was just a tremendous show, top to bottom. They are the best wrestling company overall in terms of like how they're booking their wrestlers, the storylines. The wrestling's good too, but just overall, it's just such a well put together show in terms of storylines and all that, and it peaks everything, or it checks all the boxes that I'm looking for as a wrestling fan. WWE, not so much. But what WWE still can do better than anybody is give us moments that'll make us want to watch over and over and over again. And they did that at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which aired last night, second time with fans in attendance. It started with SmackDown on Friday in Houston, and they were in Fort Worth yesterday night for Money in the Bank. And pretty solid show. I mean, it was okay. There was a lot of technical glitchy difficulties on the Peacock app if y'all were streaming that during a portion of the show. So that kind of sucked the life out of me for a little bit while watching. It kind of drowned me out of it. But then we got to the main event. Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Edge in a, pretty entertaining main event. Took a while for it to get going. But once it did, the drama ensued, and, there were storylines that were kind of being developed on SmackDown between Edge and Seth Rollins. So I thought maybe, okay, it's going to set up something for SummerSlam, and he'll be involved in this main event, and it'll be clunky, and it'll be wacky. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. But you know what? Sometimes it's okay when wrestling is predictable, because you're telling a story and it's going the way, not that I necessarily want it to go that way, but when it does, and it's refreshing, because WWE is usually so against the grain, and, they do so much out of left field stuff where it's like it doesn't make any sense. And that's what's turned off a lot of viewers over the last couple of years, just booking decisions that don't make any sense at all and not interesting enough, characters and development of stars, bringing back a lot of the old acts. But so all those shenanigans happen in that matchup, whatever. It's set up to Seth Rollins versus Edge for SummerSlam, which is going to be a match I'm really looking forward to. I'm not a Seth Rollins guy, but an Edge Seth Rollins match will be good. Like, I know that as a wrestling fan. So that will deliver. But what's next for Roman Reigns, right? So yesterday, as I'm watching that main event, and that stuff happens with Edge and Rollins, and they brawl outside of the ring, and they head to the back, and I'm like, it's not going to end like that. Like, WWE is going to has to deliver something big to juice up the crowd, to get the attention on social media, to get the talk to be about them. They got to do something, right? Maybe it's Becky Lynch. I'm waiting for her to come back. That's really going to pique my interest. So Roman Reigns grabs the mic, and he's going to talk, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what is coming. John Cena. I was like, I called it right away. As soon as I saw Roman Reigns grab that mic, I turned up the volume so loud on my TV. I was like, I know it's happening. I just know. I've been watching too long. They're setting it up perfectly. WWE has been such a letdown on every front the last couple of years, but I know they're not going to ruin this. They have to land this. And sure enough, John Cena's music hits to the biggest pop of the year for sure. Definitely, I don't know if it's a top 10 crowd reaction of all time, but it was definitely the biggest pop of the year. And that includes anything that's happened in All Elite Wrestling, which they're firing on all cylinders. But that's where WWE is still the king. They are the king of moments. And the return of John Cena last night, for a guy who was popular when he first started out, you know, with his rap gimmick and all that stuff, and then he transitioned into the company guy and kind of like, you know, was the very straight baby face, right? And a lot of the crowd turned against that, so you always had your people, the kids and stuff, always loved John Cena like they did a Hulk Hogan or a Bret Hart or even a Stone Cold Steve Austin, like myself from when I was a kid. So the kids were always behind Cena, and the adults would always hate on Cena and all that. But then it became like kind of like the cool thing to do. So Cena getting booed was kind of like a way of showing respect in some sorts. Like, you know, anyways, he would draw any type of reaction. But this was the first time in the history of John Cena's career where he was in, you know, that character to receive the ovation that he did. Like, it was like Stone Cold level. It was The Rock level, you know, that type of emotion. And John Cena has now entered in the stage for me, that part of the nostalgia. So like guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and Shawn Michaels, those guys don't do it for me anymore, even though they're from my time. Like John Cena's the last of my wrestling nostalgia. So that hit a very like good spot for me. Like it hit that little mark spot for me. So like you better believe like I knew it was coming. But the moment his song hit, I like yelled, I jumped out of my couch, and I was like, you know, throwing my fist in the air, like, hell yeah. Like, WWE can still do this. Like, and I know that doesn't make up for a lot of the bad that they've been doing in terms of storylines and all that stuff. But I can't tell you Sunday night how many times I replayed that clip on YouTube and it was all over social media and everybody's talking about it. Everybody outside of wrestling's talking about it, and it's just the year of John Cena continues, folks. I said it here on this podcast. He kicked it off with Fast 9, and he did a tremendous job in his role there as the villain. And spoilers for those of you that haven't seen it yet, but it's been out a little over a month now, or about to be a month. So if you haven't seen it yet, that means you really don't want to see it. He ends up becoming part of the Toretto clan, so we're going to see more of John Cena as Jacob Toretto, Dominic's brother, played by Vin Diesel. So that kickstarted his summer. Now he's back in WWE. He's looking to get into a big feud with Roman Reigns, heading into SummerSlam. That's going to take place in Las Vegas at the Allegiant Stadium. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's the new stadium of the Las Vegas Raiders. So that's going to be awesome, sold-out crowd. And then in a couple of weeks, I think before SummerSlam, Suicide Squad's going to premiere, or The Suicide Squad. And John Cena looks to have another scene or movie-stealing performance. And then later on, he's going to have his television show from that character that he's playing in The Suicide Squad. And I think his movie career is about to take an interesting turn here where he's going to start to really catch the eye of a lot of filmmakers. And he's probably going to be in demand for a lot of stuff. So this is awesome. I'm excited. It gets my juices pumping just a little bit for WWE. I know it's not going to last, right? Because I know how this company is, and things have just not changed. But when they need to turn it on, especially for a time like this, like SummerSlam, but not only that, but this is like the first couple of shows that they're going to do with fans back in attendance. Like, they really need to land it, and they did it last night with John Cena's return. We'll see what they cook up in the next few weeks. Like, they gave me that moment already, right? Like, but how are they going to follow up on it? Like, are they going to make the storyline interesting between John Cena and Roman Reigns? They feuded a couple of years ago, and I liked a lot of their promo stuff. It was a lot of, like, you know, a lot of gray in between their promos, a lot of, like, insider stuff, and it brought out a lot of realness to it. So if we can see a lot of that more dialed up, but this time, like, the crowd's probably really going to be behind Cena this time, because Roman Reigns is now like a full-fledged heel or villain, for those of you that don't know terms like that. Because the last time they did it, they were both kind of like the baby face, even though one had to be cheered and one had to be booed. But this time it's like your true hero versus villain type matchup. So hopefully they can deliver on that. Edge and Seth Rollins is going to be great for SummerSlam. I'm recording this on a Monday night, so I just saw Raw. Goldberg has returned also. So again, WWE's throwing all their eggs in one basket. And again, it's good for the moment, but not for the long term. But I'm okay with that in terms of WWE, because right now I have the alternative, right? AEW. And they're hitting all the spots for me. And not to say that WWE can't be good. I want it to all be good. I'm not one of these weird wrestling marks that want to, like, cheer one company but then bash the other one for every little thing they do. Even though I have bashed WWE, but that's only because I'm, like, overly critical because I want it to be good. You know, I'm tired of a lot of this mess that they've put themselves into. And we'll see how much the crowd is going to, like, you know, give into that. Like, right now it's fresh because everybody's back. Like, it's the novelty thing. Like, we haven't been together in settings like this for over a year because of the pandemic. So, yeah, a lot of that's going to be, you know, a lot of people are going to get cheered more than usual. But if WWE continues to deliver the same product post all of this stuff, once it passes, once SummerSlam is out of the way, once John Cena, you know, goes back to filming movies, even though he'll come back eventually, you know, once Goldberg leaves because he does a one match and then he leaves, you know, what are they going to do? You know, will the crowd, you know, be alive for any of it? And that's going to be interesting to see. So yes, John Cena's back. The year of John Cena continues. That popped me. So wrestling right now is very, very interesting with crowds back. I mentioned earlier I went to AEW Dynamite last week, Fyter Fest Night 1, which is their special little event that they're putting on. Night 2 this week in Dallas, which I'm going to be going to. I'm going to be visiting the legend Eli Perez. We're going to be heading to that show, so that'll be fun. I mean, I'm telling you, AEW, the crowd for that show was one of the best wrestling crowds I've ever been to. It was basically like a 5-hour show, and the crowd was hot, like, all night. Like, again, a lot of it, yes, is the product, but I know some of it is because it's all new again. It's like we're all going to shows again for the first time. So yes, everyone's super excited, and that's going to make the crowds just a little bit extra juicier as far as, like, for the pops and stuff. So right now is a good time to go if you're a fan, or even if you're not a fan of wrestling. Right now is a perfect time to go because you're going to see what it's like with a live crowd and you know, these companies delivering moments and good matches. So it's a fun time. What else is going on? So box office wise, Black Widow made a pretty decent amount of money. 80 million it opened to. The biggest opening of the pandemic, beat Fast 9 by about 10 million. So, and I nailed it dead on. I know I didn't get to give my prediction on this podcast, but I was all over social media saying that Black Widow was going to hit this mark. And the only reason I didn't aim for a higher was because of the Disney Plus variable, which finally Disney released numbers on that. And so domestically, Black Widow did 80 million. But then they released numbers for Disney Plus, which I don't remember them doing for Cruella. I don't remember them doing that for Raya and the Last Dragon, or Raya the Last Dragon, whatever the hell that movie was called. So that generated about 60 million in buys for the premiere access, where you pay the $30 extra to watch it at home. So that factored in. So now I'm starting to think, like, did that hurt Disney? Because you think you take that out of the way, you take the option of watching it at home. I think Black Widow would have had a really good chance of breaking like $100 million at the box office, at least for that first weekend, because we all know it was going to drop. And as I'm recording this on a Monday, the numbers came out for this past weekend, and it tanked like big time. Like it dropped almost like 70%. It didn't even win the box office this weekend. That went to Space Jam: A New Legacy, which I'm going to be talking about later with my daughter. So it didn't even win its second weekend. So, did the Disney Plus thing hurt it? And I know people are pirating the movie based off of that fact. So, you know, I don't know if this is going to be a good strategy as far as like, the future. Like, it's a good for now because, you know, we're still kind of trying to climb out of this pandemic. You know, there's all these reports of this variant and variants. Loki, boy, did that word variant become like a big deal now, like in just modern usage. I've been saying that word for a couple of weeks now. I use it any chance I get. But yeah, like is that going to be the norm going forward? I don't know. I think the best way to maximize a movie's profit, I think, is still through the theatrical window. HBO Max has obviously been, I think, the real winner here because their movies are still grossing in the theaters as well as, like, you know, doing business on their platform. But the difference is they're not charging extra like Disney is. You know, Disney's being a little greedy. So, you know, HBO Max has given us Tom and Jerry, which did well. Godzilla vs. Kong, which I've mentioned before, and that did really well. Conjuring, you know, was, you know, in my theater where I work, you know, it did really well. Like, there was huge crowds for it. Everyone showed up for it. But it, you know, box office numbers wise, it did okay. But that's also because the movie ended up being so. In the Heights was like the first big disappointment for it. But you know, it's kind of hard to sell originality and new, you know, actors and, you know, people we haven't seen before on screen. It's hard to sell that to audiences these days. So that was the real big clunker of this summer. But they nailed it again this weekend. They beat out Disney. You know, Space Jam: A New Legacy was available on HBO Max. It's a kids movie. It's perfect for parents that, you know, don't want to spend too much money and they can, you know, just have a day out at the house. But families do want to come out. You know, Space Jam performed really well for us this weekend at the theaters. And it was number one. 32 million. I predicted 35. Check my social medias. I'm not bullshitting you there. So I was a little off. But it was number one, so that's another win for HBO Max. Good for them. And again, I think they're the big winners. And what they got left this summer is Suicide Squad. Now I have more faith that that's going to do well. Even though it's a day in streaming, same day as theater, I think it's going to do really well. So they're looking good. You know, Paramount Plus is also looking really well. You know, Quiet Place 2 was a huge hit. It's available now on their platform, but the movie's still making money in theaters. So that just goes to show you that, you know, you can still profit from movies at theatrical, you know, venues. So let's not push us out the door just yet. And I still think that's the best way to maximize your money for a production like that. So Hollywood, take notice, man. It's not all about streaming. So that's the news on that. We got Old, a new M. Night Shyamalan film, which I'm really looking forward to this weekend. Something original. Finally, something fresh. It's been freaking sequels, prequels, you know, adaptations of IP, and I don't know, whatever else there is. That's all that's been at my movie theater. So it's going to be nice to have Old come out this weekend. Something new, something different. You know, that's what I want. You know, M. Night Shyamalan could be hit or miss sometimes. You know, I like Split a lot, but Glass was kind of like, I may need to revisit that one. But, you know, he's given us something new, which I appreciate. And then you got Snake Eyes, the G.I. Joe movie, which I got friends that are excited for that. Bunch of geeks and marks. Just kidding. Enjoy it. If you like it, cool for you. That movie is not for me. Doesn't pique my interest at all. So I'll probably skip that. Hopefully I'll get to catch Old this week. I just got so much going on with work and you know, AEW this week and just a lot of stuff going on that I'm trying to catch up on. But I really do hope I can catch Old soon, and then I'll have a review for you on this pod in the next week or so. A lot of stuff upcoming. there's going to be another Jackass movie coming out. I kind of forgotten that they were filming it, so when it came out, what the title was going to be, so it's going to be called Jackass Forever. Instant classic title for me. I love it. Trailer should be coming out later this week. So we'll see how that's going to be. It's been a pretty while since we've seen these characters from Jackass, like Johnny Knoxville. Like, I know he's super old now, so how is it going to be with these pranks, and are they going to be able to handle it, and how's it going to look? So I'm interested on that front. And plus, the Jackass movies can never disappoint. It's a bunch of guys doing gags and dumb shit where they hurt themselves. Like, how is that ever not going to be funny? Unless somebody gets brutally injured or somebody died on set, but there was no reports of any of that stuff happening. So I'm looking forward to that. So that'll be upcoming this week. Just a fun time, right? We're right deep in the middle of summer, so that's been fun. And wrestling is kind of getting good again, and it's been good with AEW, but WWE, come on, get right there. Like, you got your moments, but I want to see more. Yeah, everything's just awesome right now, and I think this is a good time to take a little break. And we come back, I'm going to take you to my conversation with my daughter that we had this past weekend, as we both rewatched the original Space Jam, and then we checked out the new Space Jam, A New Legacy, starring LeBron James, Don Cheadle, and the returning Bugs Bunny. So stick around. This is Palace Off the Top Rope. We'll be right back.
Let's play hide and seek. Got you.
Mom? Dad?
He was 6 years old this morning. We have wrinkles.
I can't think.
There's something very wrong with this beach. Every half hour is 1 year of our lives.
What is that?
A message.
Why is this happening to us?
We're connected to something bigger.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. And today, I've got little Bella returning for the first time in over a year. I think that's the last time you were on this show, right?
Yeah.
Or we were it was like a whole different time back then. We were right in the start of the pandemic, and you were doing a lot of binge watching, got to watch shows and stuff like that. We're kind of almost out of that right now. I know you're in summer right now, so you're not in school. But what else have you been up to lately?
Nothing much, just watching stuff.
Well, what kind of stuff have you been watching? I know we're going to talk about Space Jam and the new one that just released on HBO Max and in theaters right now. Space Jam New Legacy, but anything else that you want to discuss or anything cool that you've been keeping up with? Oh, you started watching, I have Paramount Plus here at home. Were you a huge fan of iCarly, or is it something that you got into recently and then you started watching the new one, right?
Yeah, I haven't watched all the seasons yet because I watched it on Netflix because they only have 2 of the seasons.
But Paramount Plus, the one I have here at home, you can watch all of them. You're only going to watch it when you're here.
Fair.
But anyways, how's the new iCarly? Do you find it to be a little better than the original, or is it not the same thing? Is it its own? Like, why is it still called iCarly? Because I know the first one's about her having like an internet show with her best friend, and it was more like kid friendly because it was on Nickelodeon. I've seen a little bit of this new one, but I haven't really paid too much attention, but it looks very more adult. Which
It is, but it's as they're getting older, they have to change the whole setup.
they have to evolve, right?
Yeah.
So is the show really not about her having an internet any show or type thing anymore?
I mean, she has the internet show, but more of it's more based of her life now as a 27-year-old.
So what does she do? Like, what's her job? Like, she's obviously not because in the original she was like in high school?
She's in high school. This one, she's out of school. She's living her own life with her new friend, Harper.
But what does she do?
I don't really know, but I think she became a meme on this show. Like, in the internet, she became a meme.
Right. But, like, what does she do for a job? Like, does she work? I've seen, like, there's a lot of clothes on the show. Does she have something to do with that?
No, that's Harper. She designs.
Oh, okay. Does she work for her? Maybe you don't even know.
She tries on this stuff, but I don't think she really works for her. All I have to say is I really don't know Carly's job. They don't really talk about it.
Okay, but bottom line, do you like the new iCarly, or is it just something you're just watching to get by?
I mean, yeah, I like it, but it's not as... I mean, this one's more adult, and my favorite out of the iCarly's is the first one with her, more about the web show.
Yeah.
But this new one, I mean, I like it, but like it's more not about the web show. It's more about her life.
So, I mean, it's interesting as you're growing up in front of my eyes and starting to watch. You're not watching like too much adult shows, but like, is it kind of similar in the way? Because you got into the show Friends, which we're actually watching in the background right now. Like, what is it about like that show that caught your attention? Because this is a show from like when I was growing up as a kid. So what about Friends? We can talk about that now. What about that show like attracts you? Like,
it's because the cast is funny. I love.
Who's your favorite?
Monica.
Monica's your favorite. Is she the one you relate to the most?
Yes, because she likes to clean, like keep the house clean, and she likes to cook a lot. I mean, I don't cook a lot, but I've cooked a couple of meals.
But you know how you're also like her a lot? Is that she's very competitive and always wants to win. Mm-hmm. But what else about the show do you like? Like, do you like how they all just get along with each other and make fun of each other? Like, doesn't it kind of make you wish you had friends like that in real life?
Yeah, sometimes after I watch the show, I feel like I want to get like a group, some of my friends in a group and like be like them.
Yeah. Go hang out. Like, would you like to go like hang out at a coffee shop or something, a Starbucks? I don't know. I'm sure there's like stuff you're going to be into when you're growing up, but hopefully you'll get to have like your own little group of people you could go hang out and do stuff with. But you've binged that show. Can you tell me like probably how many times you've run through like the entire series? Like, has it been more than 5? Like, do you think less? I know you've seen it more than once because there's been times where you've come over and you guys have gone through that show like nothing. And it's an easy show to watch, right? Because it's like, even though there's like, I don't know how many, like 240 some episodes of it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how long. Maybe 10 times, maybe even more. I don't know. But
is it something that, have you gotten bored with it, or like there's so many episodes that you can watch it whenever?
I don't get bored of it. Like, sometimes I forget some of the episodes, so it's good rewatching it to remember. Do
you ever watch it when you're at home, like when it's on Nickelodeon? Or, because you have HBO Max at home?
Yeah.
Do you watch it at home too, or only when you're here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What did you think of the reunion special?
I like that one. It talks more behind the scenes of the show, like how they got the gang together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
Did you, I know you had wished it was like a real episode kind of thing, like kind of like where they're at now.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on where those characters might be in their lives right now? Like, if they hired you to make the show, like, hey, you're going to make one episode of Friends with how they are now, or you could do that, or you could make something with their kids and make a show about them.
That's what I've thought about. Like, they should make a show about the kids and do their life of growing up, and like they become a group of friends.
You can kind of do like a revival like that. See, like that would be interesting instead of trying to like reboot it with like, I mean, because they would do it today, but they would get like a whole new different cast of people. But if you did it with the kids, because there'd be there's Monica and Chandler's 2 kids, the twins. There's Emma. There's Ben. I'm sure Phoebe was going to have a kid at some point with Mike. I don't know about Joey.
I don't know. Who knows about Joey?
Joey would probably be like that crazy uncle that pops. It would kind of be like, they could kind of do it like Fuller House a little bit.
Yeah.
Where the originals can pop in every once in a while. I think if they did that would be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would ever do it, but it's an idea. If you're listening out there, studio executives, there's an idea on how to continue the Friends legacy, but also like make it its own thing with with making it more about the kids.
Yeah.
Well, while I have you on today's show, you had talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and it's a movie that's been building up for a while. It's one that you've been looking forward to. Space Jam: A New Legacy is out this weekend in theaters. If you all are comfortable going out to your local Cineplex, or if not, it's available for free if you subscribe to HBO Max. You don't have to do the whole Disney thing where you pay an extra $30 to watch it, which I think Disney's being greedy. But Space Jam: A New Legacy, is this your most anticipated movie of the year so far? Because what else have you seen recently that's new, like movie-wise, not shows? Not really much, right? There hasn't really been anything, like, interesting.
Yeah, no.
Like, did you watch Raya and The Last Dragon?
I saw that one.
Well, obviously it wasn't that good if you couldn't remember it, right? Or it was whatever.
I mean, it was okay. I mean, I don't really remember it because it was such a long time ago. March, we're already in July.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to watch Luca, the new movie, but for some reason our TV decided to act up. It froze on us, so we had to watch a Sherlock Holmes, but it was like from 19-something.
Are you into the old movies? No?
Not really, but it depends like what it is.
Not right now. Because you've seen old movies when we've been here at the house. Like, didn't you? I remember you watched Top Gun with us. Did you like Top Gun?
Yeah. Like
with the plane, with Tom Cruise.
I know.
Do you know?
I do.
Okay. But what is it about, before we talk about the movie, what is it about Space Jam that attracted you? Like, oh, I want to see that.
Just to see the Looney Tunes again, to see what type of adventures they go on in this one.
Mm-hmm. I was interested in it because, and I mean, I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan, I've stated on this show, but I don't like hate him or anything like that, at least anymore. But one of the biggest reasons I was interested in it was because the Looney Tunes had never really been animated in the way you see like a Pixar movie.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh, that looks cool how they look 3D-ish, because it's always been like the 2D animated, even back to the original Space Jam. So that was my biggest intrigue on it. So when they did it in the actual movie, it was like, oh wow, the animation looks really good. And I knew, based on that fact, I think it was going to make good money this weekend at the box office, which it is. It's going to make around 32 million, which is pretty good for a movie like that. So let's talk about the new movie. First question is, did you like the movie overall? You can be honest.
Yes, I did like it. It was very interesting. I would sit through that.
You could rewatch it again.
Yeah, I could rewatch it again.
Is it what about it specifically did you like?
I'm gonna go like with you, like how they went from like the original animation to 3D. Which character do you like out of the Looney Tunes the most? I have to say Lola.
Lola.
Because she represents a girl can play basketball.
Right. And she's like the best one, right, of the team,
Yeah.
other than LeBron James. Do you think that having, what's her name? Zendaya?
Oh my God.
I always forget how to pronounce her name. How is it? Zendaya. How do you think she did in her voicing of Lola?
Very good.
Because obviously she wasn't around for the first Space Jam because she was probably a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, she did very lovely in the voice. I mean, of course it doesn't sound exactly like the original one, but it does. She did give the attitude of Lola Bunny.
Right. I like how come she's the only one that gets to have like a big actor voice, or like, cause all like Bugs Bunny and everybody else are just like voice actors. They're not like big famous stars. So Lola was the only one that got like a big name actress to voice her, but I'm okay with it. I like Zendaya.
Oh my God.
How do I put Zendaya?
Zendaya.
And where's she from again?
She's from. You can see her on man.
But like, how did she get famous before that? Where's she from? Disney or Nickelodeon?
Disney. She was on Casey Undercover.
Remember how I didn't know Ariana Grande was from Nickelodeon? I always thought she was just a singer, and that was it. I didn't know.
Until he watched Victorious and Sam and Cat, which he's now obsessed with the theme.
I'm not obsessed.
Yes,
Calm down.
you are.
Don't be throwing out false rumors out there into the world. So you like the animation of the movie? Anything else you like? There's a lot of there's movies from Warner Brothers, so there's a lot of characters in the background of all these different Warner Brothers movies, like Batman and It. And I saw it's a movie you're gonna have to rewatch because there's a lot of like little Easter eggs in the background. The Iron Giant.
Yeah,
what else?
That one was easy to see.
King Kong. What else? I don't know what else. What else could you see in there?
When there's like a little spaceship near the court. The Animaniacs, all three of them were.
Oh, the Animaniacs. Who else?
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
You can see them.
Do you think their library is better than Disney as far as characters?
I mean, maybe right now. I mean, they have more characters. Disney is kind of slowing down. Like, they don't have really any new stuff.
Right? They keep going back to a lot of the old stuff.
Yeah. Like when I would put on Disney Channel, I mean, not throwing any hate to Disney, but it's always the same shows rerunning all the time.
So that was another reason why it was interesting. I guess I'm going to say from my point of view, like, I enjoyed the movie. I could rewatch it. They probably could have shortened it a little bit. This one was longer.
2 hours.
Like that movie did not need to be 2 hours.
I mean,
but I'm very sensitive to that stuff these days.
It's just because they talk more about LeBron's like life and his son. But the difference between the first and the second movie is the first one is more about the Looney Tunes instead of Michael Jordan. But the second one's more about LeBron James than the Looney Tunes. Of
course, right. And I guess that's the part where I can like, that's the part that I didn't like about this movie. It's like, I think it's almost like, maybe I'm exaggerating, but not 30 minutes, but it's like, where are the Looney Tunes? And it's like doing this whole thing. And they're setting up. And then finally when the Looney Tunes come out, it's like, everything goes super fast and then they're already at the game. And it's like, whoa, they didn't establish, like, you know, you can kind of like, I mean, the Looney Tunes have been around forever, but there's a lot of young kids going into this movie, including yourself, like, that need kind of like a reintroduction to a lot of these characters. Because you're not familiar with all of them, are you?
No. I only know Bugs Bunny, Lola Bunny, Daffy Duck,
Speedy Gonzales. I want him to get his own movie out of this. I think he deserves his own movie.
Gabriel Iglesias did a wonderful job of doing it. I'm actually watching one of the show he did on Netflix, Mr. Iglesias.
Oh, is it good?
Yes, it has Creek Chino. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's from Game Shakers. The Game Shakers, you remember where it goes like, drop that?
Yeah, but which character?
Babe.
She's in that show?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I might watch. She's an interesting, funny character.
Yeah, and then the guy from Bella and the Bulldogs.
That I don't know. You're losing me with those shows. I don't. Okay, so you liked the movie overall in general. I was kind of like okay on it. I thought once the Looney Tunes get involved, it gets funny, and there's a lot of funny parts in it. There's a lot of, like, they make fun of it. Like, I think there's a part when they're asking Lola Bunny to help them out, and she's like, "This sounds familiar." Like, it's mentioning the fact that they have, they've done the movie before.
Like when Bugs Bunny asks her, she's like, "Been there, done that."
Yeah. So I like that it winked at itself, that it's self-aware, that it's kind of like they're doing the same thing, even though it was a different story. But yeah, like, the movie's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I know a lot of people online are hating on it, but that's because I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of people don't like LeBron James, so that plays into it. Because if you don't know, from like when I was little, when the original Space Jam came out, everybody loves Michael Jordan, so he was very popular. So there's not a lot of that in this new movie. So now trying to compare the two, and I watched I finished watching A New Legacy today because I had fallen asleep the night before because I had to work. Yeah. So I finished that part this morning, so I got a complete grasp on that. But then I wanted to rewatch the original, so I put that on today and I watched that. And that movie's only like less than an hour and a half, so it's super fast and to the point. Mm-hmm. And you were watching it after you got home from the party. Yeah. Had you remembered the movie? Had you seen it enough times, or was it a good refresher?
Yeah, I remember almost every part of the movie where he gets sucked in by Bugs Bunny, the magnet part, where the little aliens take all the
powers.
Yeah, the power out of them. Yeah, I remember the whole movie by heart because I watched it so many times.
I mean, obviously, if you want to compare the first one to the new one, obviously the animation's better now. Yeah. But I think from character-wise and more attention to all the different Looney Tunes, I think there's more development in the characters in the first movie. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. What I noticed is in the first one, they have like a little bit different characters from the new one. Like they had that dog, and they had the little mouse. Yeah. But then the new one, they don't have those two characters.
Right.
And they added Speedy Gonzales.
He should have been in the first one. I don't know why he wasn't in the first movie.
I know.
It's like they had more to do also, because like in the new one, I don't even remember I don't even think he plays, but Daffy Duck was like on the sidelines in the second one, right? Like he didn't play in the game, right?
Yeah, he didn't play. He was like kind of like those managers.
Yeah. I didn't like that because Daffy Duck is a very funny character, and I kind of felt he was just. It felt other than Bugs Bunny and Lola at times, but like it felt like everybody else was just kind of like in the corner, like not really doing anything.
Yeah, the thing was more based on LeBron James.
And the son.
Trying to get his son back. But really, the Looney Tunes were put on the side. Yeah. They were kind of like side characters.
Yeah. That's not what you want, right? No. I mean, because that's what the sell of the movie was for you, right? That's what attracted you to it? So, like, did that story with LeBron and his kid, did that bore you a little bit? Or was it kind of like, hey, let's get to it. Let's get more Looney Tunes involved?
It didn't bore me, but I wish like the Looney Tunes came out earlier in the movie than later in the movie.
Right.
I mean, yeah, we know that you want your son to play basketball, but he's making this video game. Mm-hmm. But we don't have to get so much into detail. I mean, yeah, some people might want to get so much into detail, but not a lot of people want that. They want to see more of the Looney Tunes.
Right. I know both movies there's a lot of CGI and animation, but in the first one, it doesn't get in the way. It's like, it's just there. Like, you kind of, I mean, it doesn't look too believable, but you believe Michael Jordan in that world. Mm-hmm. How did you feel about the LeBron James? I felt like there was too much, like, CGI and...
Yeah. Like, this one, he just got sucked in, but Michael Jordan... The Looney Tunes wanted him,
right?
But in the second one, they didn't really know, so he just kind of came into their world.
And the movie doesn't really make any sense because it's like LeBron gets thrown into Toon World or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, like I have to make a team," but like it looks like the Looney Tunes don't even want to do anything or be involved. And LeBron doesn't even want them either because he wants to create his own team and get all these different characters. Yeah. And the Looney Tunes are like, nah, we have our squad. You're going to play with us, like whether you like it or not. But I don't know. I feel like they just weren't emotionally invested in the story as they were in the first one. Yeah. But again, the first one was more about them because it was about saving their lives because they were going to get be owned by the Monstars. So they had reason to play and care. And as far as this one, like, what do they care about if LeBron reunites with his kid or not? Even, I mean, it's a family movie, I get it. But I don't know what other differences. I thought the music's still better in part one because they couldn't come up with a classic song as the Space Jam movie when it starts. So I was enjoying the soundtrack when I was rewatching the first movie. Yeah. Any other things that you noticed that maybe you liked or maybe you thought the new one did better than the original?
In the first one, I realized that in the first one, the Looney Tunes were the ones that were going to do the basketball game, and they needed help. But the second one is like LeBron is in a basketball game and he needs help. So it's kind of like the opposite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that worked in terms of like you wanting to care about like what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell from the beginning after he gets sucked in, blah, 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 play a basketball game. Yeah, but if you've seen the Looney Tunes when you were growing up, you would know, like, we want to get straight into Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you guys were, like, a fan of LeBron James, you want to see the Looney Tunes more than LeBron James.
Yeah. And wasn't, like, it's weird because LeBron James is, like, unlikable in that movie because he's, like, being hard on his kid. And Michael Jordan's more like a hero, and there was nothing really bad about him. They needed his help. So it's kind of weird how LeBron would agree to that movie because he's kind of like, because remember when the Looney Tunes in the new one, they were like, well, we're trying to be like you, and he's like, oh, I'm not that good of a person, so I need to change.
Yeah, and also, like, he's more harsher on the Looney Tunes than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was, like, nice to them, you know, being caring to them, but in LeBron James is, like, so harsh on the Looney Tunes, like, no fun, you need to be straight up focused. But not LeBron James, Michael Jordan was, you know, we'll do it your way since it's your basketball game.
Yeah. Anything, do you like that the villain in the new one was they used a real actor. It's the guy who plays War Machine in Marvel. Or would you have preferred it to be like a cartoon villain like the first one?
It would have been more funnier, but I mean, that's how it was. I mean, it would have been funny to have a cartoon villain again, because with a cartoon villain, it can have more comedy than a real villain. I mean, he was a villain, but he didn't give too much, like, emotion. Like, it didn't make you feel the need to wanting to laugh.
Right.
But the aliens made you want to laugh, and the whole first movie would make you burst into laughing, but the second one, it doesn't make you laugh so hard.
He was also trying to be like real scary at times, and it didn't work. It was just silly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think we pretty much covered most of it, unless there's something that we didn't touch on for this movie.
I mean, the thing is, in the first movie, it's more of the Looney Tunes people for the stadium, but then I love how the second movie, they have all of Warner Brothers creations.
Yeah.
I love how, like,
you know what made me laugh? What I liked was the part. You haven't seen this movie, but when they introduce, who was it? Oh, the Roadrunner and the Coyote. That movie's Mad Max, where they're in the desert and he flies off the car. And I don't know if you saw. It's in the part when they're in the desert and they're driving in cars. Yeah. It's from a movie called Mad Max. Like, it's a grown-up movie. You haven't seen it yet, but they did the way they did that. They did the Matrix with the grandma or the granny. That's a scene from the movie The Matrix.
I love that part. I love the granny, how she's being, you know, all young, and she's like in a leather suit, and she's old, but she's got moves how to fight, and I love how Speedy Gonzalez just comes in and dodges the bullets. His character is probably my favorite. I love Gabriel Iglesias, who played him. Awesome work. Made it funny. Like, I didn't burst, but I started laughing. Yeah,
they really should make a movie on him, because that character was very interesting when I was growing up. Obviously, you can make it just straight up one-liners now. Like, just put him on an adventure, have him go search for his family, whatever. Just make an adventure movie with him.
Yeah.
Just going around the world or whatever. I think it would be super hilarious in a Speedy Gonzalez movie.
Yeah, I feel like they should do more of the Looney Tunes movie, but, like, more based on one, because normally the other movies, where there's some movies, but they're really not counted as Space Jam, but it's always about Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. I mean, yes, some of the characters come out, but they're not focusing on them. They're focused on Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. I mean, yes, they're the main characters, but you have to get other sides of the Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm. Would you rather have it in the regular animated, like the way they were for most of the movie, or that new animation style?
New animation, to see them more, kind of come to life.
Yeah. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a Speedy Gonzales movie or a television show? Because you know how things are like changing now. Like a lot of stuff's on TV now.
Yeah.
Movies are changing, and
maybe like a TV show, because people might get tired of watching movies and going through all the work. Because who knows if they did ever do and where the streaming would be, like the app. Who knows if it would be on HBO Max? They could be on a different streaming network.
Yeah.
But a TV show, like you can just see it premiering on like TV sometimes, but like it could also be on a streaming network.
You might be too young to answer this, but maybe you can. You're the next generation that's growing up. Like, what are your thoughts on, like, because obviously you watch Space Jam here, you can watch it easily at home.
Yeah.
Was there any inkling or any just feeling of wanting to see it in a movie theater? Or is it kind of like you'll watch it however?
I mean, I'll watch it however, but the movie theaters, there's a specific movie theater that you can like kick back and the seat goes up.
Right. But is there a certain movie where it's like, oh, I have to see that in the movie theater? Or is it kind of now where you just like, if it's available at home, you'll just watch it at home?
Yeah. I mean, you keep telling us to not do the Disney Plus movies. But we did Raya and the Last Dragon for the...
But I mean, like, is there a movie recently that, or just like in the last couple of years where you're like, oh man, I have to see that on the movie screen? Or does that not matter to you?
I mean, it could have been cool to see Space Jam in the movie theaters to make it like 3D and it feels like it's coming to life more, but at home it's kind of just like, yeah, it comes to life, but you don't really feel it.
Right, but I mean, does it matter to you? Like, is it a big deal, or is it like, I as long as I can see the movie?
Yeah, I don't care as long as I get to see the movie.
Okay, I get. We're in different eras, because I'm very old school where I like to see my movies on the movie screen. Like, I'm fine with watching it here at home, but if I have a choice, I would definitely like to watch it on the big screen. But the only reason I watched Space Jam at home was because I knew we were going to do this podcast. So I wanted to see it as quickly and as accessible as I could, because I knew I wasn't going to have time to go to the movie theater. Yeah. But very interesting that it doesn't matter to you. I don't know. I would have to get Lily's opinion too on that, but very interesting. So, like, I guess just very quickly, lastly on this subject. So, like, Avengers Endgame, where it's like the culmination of all these different movies. Like, you could have just watched that one at home if it was available?
Probably.
Wow.
Because, since Avengers, the Infinity War and the Endgame, those were very long movies, and right. I don't know if, like, people would rather be in a movie theater sitting that long and maybe, I don't know, an uncomfortable chair for them. But sitting at home, you get to like, be comfortable. You can
pause it if you have to.
You can pause it. But in the movie theaters, you can't do that.
Right.
If you need to go to the restroom, you miss a part. And
right.
And sometimes people like to hold it in because they're dying to see these parts. But at home, you can pause it and do all that stuff.
Okay. I mean, I understand all those points and they make sense, but for me, I'm always going to want to see one of those. Like, I can't see Fast and Furious for the first time at home on a TV screen. Even though I have an awesome TV, but I have to see that on the big movie screen.
I mean, yeah, I'm not throwing any hate, but I don't see any interest into those movies because all they're doing is crime and, car chasing. I mean, it doesn't really make you that interested.
But it's about family. No, I know you're not into those movies, but I'm just saying, like, movies like that, like, or all movies for me in general, like, I want to see them on the big screen. But it's interesting to get your opinion, especially as you're growing up and how things are changing. But anything else you want to discuss before we leave for the night?
If you ever seen the new iCarly, one of my favorite parts is how they mentioned the meme she got turned into. Where
The interesting. Interesting. But that was from Drake and Josh, right?
Drake and Josh, when she was very young.
That's weird. Yeah, no, it's...
that is weird. I don't know why they put that in, because that was a whole different character.
Right, but it's because it's her, and, like, that's how you know, like, you've become popular in the world today. Is like, if they make a meme out of you, like, that means that you just made it. All the popular stuff is made into memes. Like, if Friends were around today, I think there's a lot of stuff you can make memes out of. But that one's kind of an older show, but people are still watching it, and it's still on TV, which is, I think, is still really cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all you've been up to, watching that stuff. You're still in the middle part of summer, so not a lot going on. You'll be starting school again soon. Hopefully you'll get to step inside a real school for real. No more.
I don't want to go back.
No more Zoom. You don't want to go back to school? Really?
Do it online.
Really?
I mean, yes, it's the struggle of doing it on computer.
But don't you miss, like, interacting with your friends and...
I mean, yeah, but I like doing school from home.
Having a social life? You don't want to have a social life at school?
I don't know, but, like, I'd rather do school chilling, like, at home, but at school you have to be sitting maybe, like, in an uncomfortable chair.
You're like me, you're an introvert.
And when I go to school, I get headaches very easily. It's not because I go, you know, at recess. It's not because of that. I don't know, but it gets me very bad headaches at school.
Interesting. Wow, I really thought, like, this whole time, I was like, man, these guys, well, maybe Lily does, but, like, I thought you were really inkling to get back to school and, you know, hang out with your friends and all that.
At the beginning I was, but now I realize I'm gonna, like, not be able to be home and chill or be with my dog. I have to be at school.
What do your friends think? Do your friends want to go back to school? Or are they, like, the same? Like, oh, I want to do it at home?
I mean, some of my friends already went back. I mean, I think almost all of them went back. All of them. They've been used to it. But, like, my friend from, like, kindergarten, I found out that she's not going to be there this coming semester, but that's this coming year because she moved away.
Oh, no.
So I'm only going to have, I think, 2 friends.
You'll make more friends.
Probably.
You and Lily are pretty good at making new friends, so you have no problem. But interesting. I didn't know you. Interesting. Well, anything else?
Just to say something real quick, I'm not throwing any hate at Disney, but I feel like they should do more stuff. More shows, more movies, I mean, I know they're going to do a High School Musical 4.
Ugh.
But I think they said that it's not going to have the original characters. It's going to have, like, a new...
Not even, like, Are you even caught up on the new series? The My School Musical, the series?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Is that one finished?
No.
Oh, it's still airing?
It's at episode 9.
Are you caught up with it, or are you behind?
I think I missed the one that came out on Friday.
Are you not as interested in it? Because I remember, like, the first season, you were like, we have to see every episode as it was coming out.
I mean, yes, I see it every...
But you don't sound as excited about it. Like, since you've come to last, like, throughout... Since it started, like, you've rarely talked about it. You've watched more iCarly, and we've been watching Big Shot and Mighty Ducks, Game Changers. You haven't really heard you talk about that one, so I didn't know if you were still excited about it.
It's okay. It's just I feel like there's this girl in this series. She's like the kind of the bad guy. I'm not throwing any hate at her, but she's a very mean character. Like when I watched this, I kind of got like very mad, but I I mean, I know it's a show, but yeah, it's a character that you can make it makes you feel very mad, like it gets you angry at her because she throws like a lot of hate.
Well, doesn't that mean she's doing a good job as a villain?
Yeah, like they were doing tryouts for the musical. She tried out, but she was like laughing at other people when they were trying out. And what was it? She stole their idea and gave it to the new school that she's going to. So she can be like she can get angry very easily.
Interesting. I have yet to see any of the second season. Even though that girl's starting to get more popular, Olivia Rodrigo.
It's just Olivia Rodrigo.
Rodrigo, you are Hispanic, you announce it like that.
Yes. I love all her songs. I mean, we hear it a lot. I mean, it makes me feel like I want to sing out loud because it's a good song. I like Deja Vu, One Step Forward and Three Steps Back. Good for You, Driver's License.
I haven't heard all the album yet. I've heard some of it. Yes, folks, I listen to all different types of music. So,
I actually read that from Joshua Bassett's behavior on the show, but it's just like that character. I've heard like people are getting very angry with him, but it's just the show. So if you're out there that's been like kind of throwing shade at Joshua Bassett, it's just the show. It's not.
Which one is he? The redhead?
No. He's the one that Olivia Rodrigo.
You kidding?
Olivia Rodrigo, Nini, and.
Yeah, the main guy that she likes, right?
Yeah.
That him? Why was I saying he's not a redhead?
No.
I thought he was a redhead.
No, that's his friend.
Oh, right.
Yeah. This one, it's more about kind of exploring, like trying to figure out. I mean, there's a part, I think it was the last one, they did an actual Zoom, which is kind of pretty cool to see them on Zoom. Like, they're all in different places, they're not in the same place. And if you've ever watched Andy Mack, they kind of do a little reunion there, where Sophia Wiley and one of her co-stars from Andy Mack, they meet up at the airport. And I mean, it's kind of cool to see their a little reunion. But all I have to say is I want to see more reunions like that. Like Nickelodeon do some reunions. I mean, they did iCarly, but it would have been. I mean, yes, I know that Sam is taking a little break from acting, but it could have been. It would have been cool just to have her like one episode. I'm not pressuring her or anything, but it could have been cool to see her one more time. Like, she didn't have to be for a whole season.
You said it got renewed for a second season, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe she'll come back for one or maybe she won't, like Michelle never showed up in Fuller House.
Yeah, I mean, I want that to happen. I mean, I wish Fuller House would continue, but with all the stuff going on, it'd be cool to see Michelle come back and reclaim her role. But they just did it where it's just more about Stephanie and DJ and Kimmy. It's more about them and their kids. But the original one's all about them, like together, like Danny,
Uncle Jesse,
and
I forgot what the other guy's name was.
I'm thinking it's Joey.
Joey, there it is. Joey, it was Joey.
It was Joey?
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been cool to see more of Michelle. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they should do a lot more reunions. Like, I've watched Big Time Rush. I feel like they could do a reunion. I mean, I never knew they were an actual band after the show. But it'd be cool. I know they did like a Rugrats little reunion you can see it on YouTube. It's where they get the whole cast back together and do like a...
You're not talking about the new one that's on Paramount Plus, right? That's like new style animation for Rugrats.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. They have all the original ones. I'm just starting the first Rugrats, the original one.
Which one out of all these streaming services? Which one do you like the most, or has like a lot of stuff that you're interested in? Paramount Plus,
Paramount
right?
Plus. I'm getting kind of tired of Disney Plus. I'm kind of getting bored with it.
Well, because it's like, I don't know, like all the stuff that they are coming out with. It's weird how they're aiming it more for adults.
I know.
The man children. I'm sorry, you don't know that term.
Like Loki's more for adults, and like kids don't understand it. Black Widow, like you said, you didn't really like it,
Yeah.
but like it's more for adults. Disney Plus is becoming more for an adult streaming than a kid streaming. I mean, yes, they have family movies and kids shows, but it's more becoming adult stuff because they're throwing more adult.
So that's kind of like turning you off. But Paramount Plus, they're at least
have Nickelodeon, and
But at least they're doing like new stuff, like the SpongeBob stuff,
Yeah.
the iCarly stuff. Even though she's a little grown up,
Yeah.
the Rugrats. But they're at least catering stuff
yeah,
to.
they keep coming out with kids, well, I mean, some kids stuff,
Mhm.
but Paramount Plus is probably my favorite streaming because they get to see all Nickelodeon shows that I've always wanted to see, but I mean, I was a baby. I couldn't see some of them.
Mhm.
Like seeing all of iCarly. I mean, I'm still not at all of iCarly, but seeing all that, what is it?
You saw the Game Shakers.
The game. See, I wanted to see that one. Lily said she saw it. I don't know, but I've always wanted to watch that show because I was very interested in it because it felt like a good show.
Mhm.
I love the part where you get mad and it goes like drop that and you're like like you nod you like go kind of shake the no, but like you need to go like that.
But yeah, no, Paramount Plus, you'll only get to watch it here. I know you keep wanting to hack my account, but no, you only watch it when you're here.
Yeah, me and Lily tried on my iPad to get his account, but we failed bad at that. Lily failed. She gave me the wrong information.
All right. I think we're going to wrap up our conversation here. We've talked a lot about a lot of different things. So, as I guess, kind of little movie critic, to the audience, would you recommend the new Space Jam movie?
Yes.
Or is it something like, whenever you have time? Well, you can't watch it on HBO Max forever because it's only on there for like 30 days.
I know. I thought that was Tom and Jerry.
Oh yeah, Tom and Jerry. That's a movie you saw earlier this year.
That one was very funny. Me and Lily started bursting into laughing. We're the one where they do the animal tornado. That one's really funny. I love how it's like they're in the real world.
Yeah.
That one was pretty cool. I love how like at the beginning they have hatred for each other, but like in the middle, kind of close to the end, they bond together and try to fix everything. But at the end of the wedding, they fight again, of course, because it's Tom and Jerry. They're always cat and mouse, fight a lot.
So I always tell like people this at work. Like I listen to what you're interested in movie wise because I remember you said Tom and Jerry you were interested in, and that movie did really well. You said Space Jam interested you, and I told people like that's going to do really well. I said my daughter's looking forward to it. I think it's going to do really well. Is there something coming up in the future that you're interested in? I'm just trying to gauge what's going to be the next popular thing or movie or show that you think is probably like. Do you think Suicide Squad's going to be good?
I mean, probably for a lot of people who are interested in the villains, but of course the Suicide Squad, they're the heroes, but in the like DC movies, they're the bad guys. But like in the Suicide Squad, they're telling more of their lives, like how they roll. But the DC heroes think of them as villains,
right? But
then they're really heroes in their movie,
right? So do you think, like, just kind of like forecasting, predicting? Do you think that one's going to be like? First of all, are you interested in? I don't know if I'll let you watch it because it's rated R. But does that one appeal to you? Do you think it's going to do well? Or do you think it'll be alright?
I think it'll be alright. I mean, I don't know. Who knows what the movie's going to be like, but I mean, I don't know yet, but I don't know. I don't watch that.
What about this movie got moved later to October. I think it's actually going to come out the same day, but I know one of them will move. But Hotel Transylvania 4,
Wait, that one got moved?
yeah, it was supposed to be out this month, but they moved it to October. So it's going to come out the same day as Addams Family 2.
Dang it.
But are you excited about those movies?
Yes.
Which one? Like, if you had to see one first, because they're both going to come out on the same day, which one would you pick first to go see?
I gotta say Hotel Transylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Addams Family kind of just started with their animated, movies.
Mm-hmm.
But Hotel Transylvania, I've seen all of them. So
Yeah.
it'd be cool. I want to see that one first and then the Addams Family, but it depends on my mom because she loves the Addams Family.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the live action ones?
Yeah.
The movies from the 90s?
Yes.
Okay. Do you like those?
Yes. My mom kind of wants me to dress up as Wednesday, and you know my friend Brennan.
Mm-hmm.
He wants him to dress up as Pugsley. They want us to do couples costumes. They do it like that.
Oh, okay. That's hilarious. Okay, so those movies for sure you're interested in. Those will probably be big hits.
I mean, I know there's more animated movies like
what about Clifford the Big Dog?
I want to see that one. That one looks funny. Because I saw the trailer and he wags he's in the room and the tail hits the guy and kind of flings him on the wall. That one looks funny.
I know you're not little anymore, but they're finally making a Paw Patrol movie. But I know, but you're not interested in that, right? That's too little for you, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this one, they're going to a different city than just where they normally would
Right.
be. And I know that Kylie Jenner is in that one.
Ew.
Yeah, she's in it. I found out when I was, like, watching, I think, what is a trailer for something, like, the Hotel Transylvania. That trailer came out as a commercial, and I saw it has Kylie Jenner's name. I mean, no shade to the Kardashians.
No, you can throw all the shade at them. I don't care. I don't like them.
Me neither. If I have to choose the Kardashians over Siesta Keys, I do Siesta Keys.
I have no idea who that is. No idea.
It's like Siesta Keys. It's in Florida.
Oh.
They're rich, of course. Every show they have to be rich, but
it's okay. That's not the real world. They live in fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, fun stuff coming up. We'll see when's the next time you want to come on the show and talk about something.
Well, yeah, it depends on what comes out. I mean, I know Jungle Cruise is coming out soon.
Are you interested in that?
It looks interesting. I mean, I found out, like, behind the scenes, like, it's them doing the actual stunts.
Yeah, but what do you think about The Rock?
Yeah, I mean, I like him.
I mean, you like the Jumanji movies.
Yes,
and
those are funny.
I don't know what else you've seen of his.
If there's, like, a studio out there listening, I want another Jumanji because it left off on a cliffhanger where the Jumanji comes into their world.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll make it at some point, but I like that actress in that movie. I don't know, that movie just kind of, I don't know, doesn't really pique my interest, but I'm sure if you watch it, I'll watch it with you. Or I don't know, you probably buy it on Disney Plus when you shouldn't even have to spend that extra money to.
Jumanji?
No, Jungle Cruise.
Oh, well, we probably. I'm trying to think of the movie. Oh, I know that there's another Halloween movie coming out.
Yeah, but you can't watch those movies.
You said I haven't.
What?
I've seen scenes
What?
of it.
But you haven't seen the movie.
No, not the whole thing. Sometimes I see the beginning of it. I watched The Leprechaun with her name, Jennifer Aniston.
Oh.
The first one. I saw that one. I mean, it was okay. I'm not interested in it. I don't like that. It's a clown. I remember we went to Six Flags for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
That thing that came up, that scared the heck out of me. I was little. You remember the person came behind me and kind of tapped me on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I got freaked out so bad.
Yeah.
And now I've made a promise that I'd never do that again.
Yeah. A lot of interesting movies coming out. The Marvel movies that are coming out kind of look okay.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and then the
7 rings.
whatever it is. Who cares? It could be 100
And
rings.
My grandma keeps getting so mad. It's because they keep moving Top Gun.
I know. It's the one that's the one I want to see. You see it, my poster up here on the wall.
June was supposed to come out last year. It got moved to this year, but then it got moved to November. Who knows? It might get moved again.
No, don't say that, because I want it to come out already. That's the one movie I want to see this year is Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah. If you have to choose out of the ones that are originally or the ones that are supposed to come out, would you rather watch The Suicide Squad or Top Gun Maverick?
Don't make me pick, because I really want to see both of those movies.
I mean, you know which one's coming out first.
Right, but like, if you're asking me, I can only see one of them. I guess. I don't know. That's a good question. I really want to see what John Cena does in this movie, because he's going to get a TV show out of that character that he plays in this movie. It's going to be on HBO Max.
I was shocked that
That means he's probably really good in it, because they decided to make that TV show right away. Like, I think it's already finished filming, and I think it's going to come out later this year.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to say Suicide Squad, because I want to see what John Cena does in that movie.
That one shocked me when I found out he was going to be in it. I mean, it's more about, like the superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
And I never would imagine he would want to do that stuff,
But he's funny, though.
He is. I remember, what was it, Fighting with Fire or something like that?
Did you watch that one, Playing with Fire?
Yeah, that one. Yes, that one's funny.
Mm-hmm. I never saw that one. But he's funny in Daddy's Home, too. Thought he was super funny in that movie.
I mean, he really didn't talk that much, but
towards the end of the movie, he's like super hilarious.
Yeah.
That one they need to make a part 3 of. I'm waiting for Daddy's Home 3.
Yes. If there's someone that created that movie, please make a part 3. Everyone, I mean, I don't know if everyone, but we want to see what happens to them again, get the cast back together. I mean, I know the girl that played the daughter of
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, she's older now to see like her point of view.
Yeah.
And she probably wouldn't be a child anymore because she's older.
Yeah.
All of them are older now to see what their life is. Like, still created a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be cool to see another part 3.
Yeah, they should make another one. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah.
Wow, we've almost been talking for an hour.
Gosh, I mean, you normally do podcasts for an hour.
Not when it's just me. Sometimes they're shorter.
It's because I haven't been on a podcast since the last thing we talked about, I think, was Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Where that part was like, oh, I hate Sam.
Yeah.
I don't like her. I like Tori better.
How do you feel now, since the last time we talked, season 3 hadn't premiered yet, but now that we've seen it, are you like, did it live up to the hype for you, or do you feel like you were left wanting more? Because a lot of stuff happened in season 3. It was like, whoa, like, and they finally like revealed Allie, which was a big deal for me because I liked her a lot when I was growing up.
The thing is, the reason I didn't like Sam back then is because I was like, she'd never choose between Miguel or, I forgot his name, but Tanner Buchan, his character, like, choose because...
Oh my gosh, now I'm blanking. What is his name?
I forgot. Blake? No.
No. It's Robbie.
Robbie.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting a lot of names.
But you know the actor names, though.
Yes. I mean, yeah. When we finished Game Shakers, it left off on a big cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, when you watched that last episode, you're like, oh, that's the way it ends, and I was like, forever. That's how the series finished, just on that.
I searched it up. They're like, they canceled the.
Oh, so they just never finished filming it.
Wait, no, season 4, I think.
So they never finished filming it. They just left it like that.
They left it like that.
And they're already older now,
where
right?
all her crushes come back.
Yeah, and he was one of them, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
Henry, and then
But back to Cobra Kai though. Did you like season 3, or did you think it was kind of like just it was okay?
It was alright. I mean, I don't like how they're doing, like, how
Kreese, yeah.
I don't like how he did that part where he brings out an actual snake with the...
Oh, you're talking about the flashbacks where they were showing his story, right?
No, it's not that one. It's the one...
Oh, where he was being, like, super mean to everybody?
Yeah, he's a really bad character. I mean, they kind of gotta dial down his own meanness, because he put an animal, like, he puts animals through...
Yeah, no, I get what you're talking about. I understand that.
That's the part I didn't like, but the rest was okay. I mean, it would have been fun to see more of Tori.
Yeah, I feel like she was kind of like...
She was more now of a side character, and now it's more about Samantha.
Well, they're still going to have to revisit because they're still feuding because they fought but didn't really settle their issues. Yeah. But they're probably going to do the tournament next season because that was the whole thing that led up to that huge fight that happened at the end.
Yeah. I mean, we have to... When is it supposed to come out?
Hopefully by the end of this year. But if not, it'll be for sure.
I mean, season 3 was promising. It did come out on the date it was supposed to come out.
Right.
Top Gun keeps moving.
It's not its fault. It's COVID's fault.
COVID's kind of clearing down now. Unless people don't get their shots, I recommend to get your shots now. If you're 12 years old watching this podcast, go get your shot right now. Be safe and healthy. We can fight through COVID and we can get back to our normal lives. Which I hate. I wish school didn't go back to normal. I want it to be online.
Who knows? Maybe school will be an online thing. I don't know.
I hope it is.
I wish I could work from home. Yeah, I'm in a relic. I'm in an old school type of thing. But maybe I can work for one of the streaming networks one day.
That'd be cool to see. You can tell us, like, oh, this show is going to come out, but we wouldn't reveal it to the world because that would give it away.
The only one I ever see that's hiring here in San Antonio is Hulu. So. But Hulu's okay.
Hulu's alright. But what would you do? Like, create a show or no?
Oh, no. I just work, like, in their customer service department, like, helping people, like, with their accounts and stuff like that.
Okay, so I have a question for the viewers that are listening or will listen to this. If you had to choose between, the first Space Jam or the second Space Jam, which one would you choose? And another one, if you did watch Cobra Kai, which side would you want to be on, Tori or Sam?
What side are you on?
I don't know. I like both of the characters.
Now you like them both now? They fleshed out. Well, because Sam finally...
Sam is still kind of... I don't know. For me, she's still got to work her way up for me to like her.
I thought she was annoying. I mean, I had liked her the first 2 seasons, but this past season, she played like super scared the whole series because she was scared of Tori. Yeah. Because of what happened in the school fight.
Yeah, but she wasn't braver this season than last season. Like, she was more scared and not willing enough to do stuff like that.
Yeah. But we'll see. Season 4 will be coming soon enough. And you have to watch Karate Kid Part 3 because that guy is going to be coming back.
I don't understand. No.
But you're not going to know who he is.
Yes, he's that rich guy.
The oil... No.
They showed him. He was the younger one. And when they showed him the snake part, he was like, I'll do anything for you. And he rings that.
Yeah, but you have to see how cool of a bad guy he was in Part 3. I'll get you to watch that movie at some point. Yes, I will.
No.
Yes. You have to learn. You have to learn the mythos of the Karate Kid. Or you think you're just cool enough that you'll understand it without having seen that movie?
I don't know. I don't think it's really
It's relevant.
No.
And it's not even it's shorter than Space Jam, the new one.
I'm searching right now and seeing which movies are coming up because I know a couple of them that came out. Oh, I remember I watched Godzilla vs. King Kong. That one was pretty interesting. I mean, it made me feel like I was like sucked into it.
See, that one you have to have seen that in the movie theater, because we watch it at home. It's just like not the same thing.
I liked it though, but my mom, she said like no hate at Disney or anything, but she says like she didn't like the live action ones, like how they did the Lion King.
I didn't like it either.
No, that one, I feel like they should have done that one because it feels more heartbroken because of the dad dying.
Well, but it was the exact same movie. Like, they didn't even try to make it different.
Yeah, it was the whole same thing. And I didn't like Mulan. No hate at it, but I didn't like it at all. Mm-hmm. There was barely even talking in it. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the funniest character, the little dragon that would follow her around. That one they didn't even put in. They made it more adultish. Mm-hmm. Disney Plus is turning into adult streaming, which I wish they didn't do that. So really the kid-friendly streaming networks, this has to be Paramount Plus because they have a whole Nickelodeon streaming thing. Mm-hmm. So I do recommend getting Paramount Plus. No hate at Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But Disney Plus, work your way up to getting more kids stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's not all about adults. I mean, yes, there's adults in life, but there's also kids that want to see more Disney stuff. Because there might be a kid out there that says, I love Disney more than Nickelodeon, and I want more Disney stuff to come out.
All right, we're going to wrap it up here. But thank you for joining on this episode, and we'll bring you on sooner rather than later. Okay, Bella? Say bye to the audience for tonight.
Bye.
Thanks for showing up. Talk to you next time. Once again, thanks to my daughter Bella for showing up on the show. She never needs an invite. If she says she wants to do a show, we're going to do a show. It's her rules or the highway. So thanks to her for that. I'm sure we'll be chatting about other stuff later on in the year. I'm so sorry, folks, for the audio. I don't ever try to claim to be a professional podcaster. I'm learning this stuff as I go. I forgot to hit the right button to have her mic completely on. So if you have trouble hearing her, I apologize. I tried to get it as loud as possible. She was tremendous. Her sound was good, but I just hit the wrong button, so it didn't catch her sound fully. So I tried. So if the audio's a bit off for this one, that is why. All the blame is on me. She was great. And I'm sure she'll have some criticisms on me of messing up on this, because there's nobody that's harder on me than my daughter. And she's the only one that could, tear me apart, and I'll feel awful for it. Anybody else can criticize me, it'll just be whatever. But when she does it, like, I feel like I disappoint myself, and not only her, but more me. And I'm like, ugh, I can't let her down. So sorry about that, but that's going to do it for this episode. You can catch this episode and all my other past episodes of Palace Off the Top Rope on Spotify. Search Palace Off the Top Rope. Hit that follow button. I do share all of my podcast links through my social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram through podbean.com. You can download the app. You can listen on your phone. You can download the Podbean app. If you're an iPhone or Apple person, subscribe on Apple Podcast. Leave me that 5-star review, folks. I would greatly appreciate it. Bella would appreciate the stars and comments and all. Give her all the kudos and all that stuff. Say how great she is. I'm just whatever. I'm here. But thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Old's coming out this week. So again, I hope to catch it, and I'll do a review for it next week. Hopefully, I'm going to Fyter Fest Night 2 of AEW. So I'll try to recap some of that. We're on the road to SummerSlam, so I'll probably do a preview pod for that in the coming weeks. And once again, my spinoff series, 90s Films Turns 30, will return soon. I'm not going to give you an exact date, but it'll be back, and we're going to continue to celebrate the year 1991 on that series. So thank you once again, guys. Enjoy. Have a good week. God bless you.